Good morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. I hope you had a lovely evening. I am going to make meatballs for spaghetti sauce, okay? So I have already ground this up and I didn't think you needed to see me grind it up. It's 2 pounds of beef stew I used with 1 pound of pork and I ground it up. I've got everything in the sink from grinding it. Now we're going to add 2 teaspoons of salt. Where I put my measuring spoons. You can use any tomato sauce that you want, but this is a very rich meatball. Now, the instructions say to fry it up, but I am not going to be frying mine up. I am going to bake mine because I can get them all done in one shot. Instead of making a mess there, my oven, contain it, and I'm happy. All right, we need 1 teaspoon of black pepper. I'm sort of going back and forth. I might have to interrupt you because I have bread rising at the same time. I'm going to try to get this done before that. We need 1 teaspoon of basil. No, this one. That's not going to fit in there. So we'll use this instead. Okay, 1 teaspoon. A half a teaspoon of thyme. Okay, what else do they want? I'll get to those in a minute. 1/4 of a cup of pine nuts. Pine nuts I would keep in the refrigerator once you open them because they are nuts. Nuts will go bad. So you have to be aware of that. We need a half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. All right, you need 1/4 of a cup of small sultana raisins. If you do not know what sultana raisins are, they are golden raisins. So if you read recipes that say that, instead of saying golden raisins, they use this term, so you have to be aware of these terms. My scissors. Golden raisins have a very unique taste. And I enjoy them tremendously. Well, there aren't enough cookbooks. I'm going to put this in a jar. That's probably the best place to put it, and put it in the refrigerator. Right now they can sit like that. We're going to be doing some chopping. We need 1/3 of a cup of grated Parmesan cheese. So I'm going to get my box grater out, start grating. cheese. Now these are just the meatballs. You can make any tomato sauce that you want. We're just making the meatballs right now. Because I love James Beard's tomato sauce, I'll probably use his, which I have already given you 100 times. And I've given it to you once. I've given it to so many people and they love it. They have never tasted a tomato sauce so good with so few ingredients. Okay, we got that done. Okay, what's next? Yeah, I do have a lot of other stuff going in here as well. We got that pepper, we got that, we got that. Okay, I have to bring out my cutting board and a knife. Hold on, we need to get this too. Wait a minute, there's one more thing we have to get. Where is it? Where are those breadcrumbs? Crushed. We got the eggs we have to do. All right, he states, well, the cookbook states they want 3/4 of a cup of breadcrumbs. My family is not overly fond of a lot of breadcrumbs. So I am going to use wheat germ, be raw or toasted. We like the taste of it better. So I'll use a 1/2 cup of wheat germ for us and 1/4 of a cup of breadcrumbs. People who like breadcrumbs, you'll notice when you use it, it's really dry. I'm not overly fond of that. The wheat germ leaves more of a moisture, which I prefer. So if you just have breadcrumbs, it's 3/4 of a cup of breadcrumbs, or if you wish, you can do what I did and add a 1/2 cup of wheat germ and 1/4 of a cup of breadcrumbs, just according to your taste. Now, we're going to add 3 eggs to this, and then we're going to start chopping. Yeah, I've been going through eggs this week. That's why I always keep 6 dozen around. I never know. You just never, ever know. Some weeks, I buy 1 dozen eggs and that's it. And other weeks, I need to buy 6 dozen. You just never know. All right, now we're going to be chopping. Let me go get my chopping block. Okay, you're going to need, where did I put? 6 cloves of garlic chopped. Well, 5 to 6. I think I've got 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 here. He didn't say mince, they just say chop it up. So I'm going to peel them and then smash them and chop them up. Now this is not a dish made this way. They make bolognese in Italy, but this is the American version of spaghetti, or meatballs, spaghetti meatballs. When I make bolognese, I will show you how that's made. I really hope he would get me some venison, but depends on how much I want. I'm thinking get 5 pounds ground so I could try making hamburgers out of them. Yeah, I'm gonna go there. Could you imagine venison hamburgers? know it's going to cost me a pretty penny. I know he's going to ask for it. If I'm going to order it, I'll order 5 pounds. But if he could give me a roast, I'd be happy about that too. They say that venison doesn't have a strong flavor. I think that's because we're killing the deer too young. You don't want a buck that's got a rack like this big, but you do want a young deer, but let him have more pointers on him. And for those of you that are not hunters, the points, when they say a 6-pointer or something, they're talking about his antlers, how many points are on him. Tell him how old he is. Told you, my father hunted, my brothers hunted some. I think my older brother hunted until his hips went. My younger brother, I don't think he really hunted after our parents got a divorce. I could be very, very wrong. All right, I'm going to check and see if we've got everything. I don't think we have yet. Ground beef, ground pork, salt, Parmigiano. We did pepper, basil, thyme, garlic, crumbs, raisins, pine nuts, parsley. We missed the parsley. We need 3 tablespoons of chopped parsley. Just think, if you wanted to make this would be excellent as meatball sandwiches. You think all of this and then make them into meatballs and put them in a sandwich, you know how good they're going to be. So I'm making tomato sauce, and I'm going to make pasta. Oh boy, if I had made French bread, we would have sandwiches. And one of my sons would say, I can't take that to work. It'll be a mess by the time I get there. I said, don't worry. I'll pack that separate in the bread and you can put it together. There's a madness to my head sometimes, as they say. My friends would say, I don't believe you thought of that. I said, well, okay. What size do they want these? 1.5 inches? Yeah. Now I'm going to have to go get baking dish so I can sit there and put them on. Okay, I'm gonna put them on here and I'm gonna bake them all at once, but I have to grease this because they're gonna stick a little. The thing is I don't want them sticking that much, so I'm gonna go ahead and grease this to make sure they don't stick too much. Now, people, I know you fry yours a lot. It leaves a mess on the stove. Sometimes it's just easier to stick it in the oven and bake them for about 15 minutes is basically what it takes. And I do it at 425. So leave them in there for about 15 minutes and that is it. Okay. Now we're going to mix all of this together. I thought this bowl would hold everything. Now you have to mix this thoroughly. If you don't, it's not going to work. So remember that this is an American meatballs and spaghetti. It is not Bolognese. Bolognese is what you find in Italy. So I will sit there and make that sometime, and you will see what they put in theirs. But like they said, for the cardinal, the cook found whatever meat he could find. So heaven knows what they did. Now, I'm going to talk about something that a lot of people don't understand. We're going to talk about your tongue. Your tongue is loaded with B vitamins. You know, as you get older, the flavors aren't there as much. This is because you're depleting your body of things. And this is when you take medication, food starts tasting funny to you. You don't have those B vitamins. They won't let the B. One thing I say about medicine, it blocks stuff from coming in. So that is the bad thing. It doesn't work to heal your body. It blocks it and it makes the blood look well, but it doesn't do anything for your cells except starve your cells of the nutrients they need till finally they all start dying and finally you end up in the grave. You don't mind going of old age if it's your time, but you don't want to go that way. So you need your B vitamins to keep your taste buds going. And if you look under your tongue, you see some veins there. They're blue. Underneath, if you could pull your tongue up and look underneath those veins, that is the only place you can find B vitamins. B12, I mean. Sorry, B vitamin. No, I'm on B vitamins right now. Talking to you about, no, that's the only place B12 will get into the body. So if you take B12 tablets and you swallow them, you don't get the B vitamins. If you take a B complex, the B12 is not going to get into your body. If you sit there and chew it, it's not going to get in your body. The only way you can get a B12 into your body if you take tablets, a B12 capsule, not a capsule, a tablet, you have to put it under your tongue and let it dissolve. So old folks would yell at the children, chew your food thoroughly. The reason they told you to chew your food thoroughly is as you chew that food, you're breaking down the vitamins and the minerals and everything, and that B12, which is in the food, as you chew it, you're breaking it down. It is absorbed underneath your tongue and into the blood system. Then you wouldn't be anemic, which is one of the B12, is one of the anemias that we have a problem with in this country. So your parents weren't being stupid when they said chew your food thoroughly. I mean, you don't have to eat your meal in 5 minutes and swallow it like an animal. No, you sit there and you chew it and chew it and chew it. So if your taste buds are going, you got a big problem. If food tastes funny after you take medicine, you know the medication is blocking the nutrients. If you're deficient in B12, The only way you're going to get it is if you get you chew your food thoroughly, or you buy a B12 tablet, and you put it underneath your tongue when you're done eating, and just let it sit there and dissolve slowly. So your tongue is a telltale signs when you start tasting, and I've had a lot of friends tell me food tastes funny now, and they don't like it. They liked it at one time. My food I still enjoy. I can taste the flavors. Oh my God, did I enjoy that meal yesterday. You could taste the veal stew, the mashed potatoes with the buttermilk in it, and then on top of it, you could taste the wine. Oh God, that dish was so good yesterday. It was really, really good. Now that is a recipe that is well worth the effort to go through to put together. It really came out quite nice. I couldn't believe it. It just went ba-boom. It was very mild, but those flavors mingled so well together. No, it was the feta cheese. The feta cheese gave that tang to the mashed potatoes that you did. Was it the feta? Well, whatever they put in it. Anyway, all three flavors went excellent together. Okay, bake. Now when you bake your meatballs, make sure it's in the middle of the shelf. I am making some big meatballs, as you can see. I just think this is gonna be so good. So whatever tomato sauce that you like, by all means make it and put these in it. You'll be quite surprised. I'm not gonna lie to you, you're gonna be quite surprised. 15 minutes in the oven and these will be fine. They'll be cooked enough. Then when you put them in the tomato sauce, they can cook a little longer. But as soon as I get these done, I'm going to get those tomatoes and start cutting them up. I got a whole bunch of them in the refrigerator. I know I have a jar of tomato sauce, but if I don't have enough, I'm using that as a fallback. I have to do some more tomatoes. I haven't done that. Bad girl, I know. So please remember, if you're on medication, it's blocking nutrients and getting into your system. And if you said, well, I'll take extra vitamins, it doesn't work. I'm going to tell you that right now. I did it with my husband, and I thought the vitamins and the food and all was working together with the medicine, and I found out reading his PDR after he passed was that is not the case. It blocks. And people are coming out talking about nutrition and stuff because we didn't have these problems and we have them now. If you have a cholesterol problem, they eat lecithin. Granular lecithin is 2 B vitamins and take them with a B complex. Like I told you about Tony, oh my God, I didn't believe he did what he did. His cholesterol was so low that the doctor even questioned his medical knowledge. And I said, don't you tell your doctor doing this, because he'll tell you not to do it. And he did it. And in 6 months, I mean, he got it down. I mean, I couldn't believe. I said, Tony, the only thing I told him was, when you do this, you better take some extra socks, because you're going to sweat like you have never sweat before, because your body's going to get rid of that fat any way it can. So that means through the urine, through the bowels, your feet. He said, I did sweat, Sandy. I sweat a lot. I did. I'm glad you told me to take some socks to work and change my feet, my socks, because they really stank. And I said, yeah, it's getting rid of all the fat. And I said, when you go to the bathroom, you'll notice that you're going to see fat floating in your urine, in your bowels. It'll be just like gunky. That is it, getting the fat out of your system. But remember, he also took a a glass of lecithin and a glass of orange juice because he couldn't have milk at that time. His cholesterol was so bad. And I told him every time you take that, you got to take a B complex 100. I said, but once you get it down, balance it out. That you just have to take it every day, but you don't have to take that amount. And it worked. He was so happy. The swelling from his liver, all of that disappeared. He was really happy. He had his life back. And he was going out to eat. And he says, Sandy, I'm going to have a steak. I want a baked potato. I want butter on it, sour cream, bacon. I want to eat the fat and all. And I said, just remember, you got to continue taking lecithin. You just take less. And you still have to take the B vitamins. Just remember that. And he said, okay. He felt so good, he decided to come off of it, and his cholesterol climbed again. He said, what do I do? I said, did you stop? He said, yes. I said, you got to bring it back down. And then you just take a couple of tablespoons of lecithin, and if your cholesterol starts to climb, you just increase your lecithin, and if it's fine at 2 tablespoons, you're fine. Yeah? But that was him. He was so funny. I enjoyed Tony. I'm sure he's not around anymore either. Everybody I know, I think of Dr. Paul, and he's not around anymore. I mean, all these people were older than I was. Now I'm the old girl. Oh my goodness. It's so funny because in my mind, they're still very much alive. And I was thinking, you know, I haven't called Paul in a while. And I remember, and I said, oh God, he's already gone. You know? People do that. Think of people that we knew that aren't around anymore. You see these meatballs? They're huge. I can imagine them on tomato sauce. I might bake them 25 minutes and let them cook in the oven, and then make the tomato sauce. Put the meatballs on the pasta and then pour the sauce over it, and then the cheese. Doesn't that sound good? Well, so far we got 12. I'm going to have to move them around because I'm going to have more than 15. Maybe 16. Oh, this one looks so small compared to the rest of them. I'll have to make this one larger. Let's say a little more to this one. I got 16 huge meatballs. I could have made a lot of small ones, but like he said, these are big ones that he was making. But you can make them smaller if you wish. can see they are huge. I'm not making small ones this time. I don't know how much they are, just what I'm going to do. Almost 3 pounds, okay. That's more than enough. Now the tomato sauce I'm using, though I'll adjust it, is 5 pounds of tomatoes with a tablespoon of water. You quarter your tomatoes. Cut the core out on them because you're not going to be able to blend them up. You cook them on a low flame until they're soft and mushy. Throw them through the blender or food processor. Put them back in the pot. Put a stick of butter in and 1 whole onion. Don't chop the onion, just peel it. Put it in whole, and then cook till reduced and thickened, and the onion is cooked. You'll see the onion is soft. Take it out, and you got it. James Beard's famous tomato sauce, which I love. That's at 7 o'clock. The bread is rising quite nicely. Well, I got the oven and it's warm in the kitchen because I'm cooking. This is the only part that doesn't blend up, so you have to cut that out. But you don't have to peel them. You don't have to do any of that everybody says you got to peel your tomatoes, you got to do this, you got to do that. No. Only if I'm canning them do I have to peel them. But then you take those tomato peelings, dehydrate them, grind them into a powder, and stick them into your tomato sauce, which gives it extra flavor. So then you still don't waste. And that way you use all your tomatoes. Now, I've used the other tomatoes, and I use egg tomato. That's what we call these, egg tomatoes. I don't know the name they call them now. They're more meaty, so I get a richer sauce. If you use the tomatoes that have a lot of liquid and they're round, your sauce is going to take longer because you're going to have to break it down and cook it and thicken it up. That's why I use this. 1 tablespoon. And that's to keep them from burning. You put them on the low flame and let them do what they have to do with the lid on. When they're all mushy and soft, blend them up. Yay! Then add that butter and onion, whole onion. You got it. You got a tomato sauce that makes an excellent tomato soup or whatever else you want to do with it. It's so simple that the full flavor of the tomatoes come out because you're not covering it up with everything else. Okay? I'm leaving the meatballs in for 25 minutes because they're really big and they're showing signs I have to leave them a little longer. But if you make smaller ones, they should be done within 15 minutes. Okay, the meatballs are done. Here they are. They just came out of the oven. They're ready. And those are meatballs for a tomato sauce, or better yet, a meatball sandwich. Just think, the Parmigiano cheese on it. Put these in the tomato sauce. Toast your bread because you don't want it to soak through, right? And then you sit there and you take the meatballs out of the tomato sauce, lay them in there, sort of cut them like in half. You know, after you lay them in, then take the tomato sauce that they're cooking in and pour all over that, and then grate a whole bunch of Parmigiano cheese. Your husband will love you. Okay? He will. He'll sit there and say, this is delicious. He'll probably ask for a beer, but I think a wine would go much better. A dry red, or no, not a rosé, a Merlot. A nice dry Merlot would go very nice. Though he'll probably ask for a beer, prop up his self, and sit there and enjoy himself. Okay, so listen, take care and enjoy your day. Bye-bye.